Hi, everybody. Welcome to the May 2023 edition of the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. I'm Rod MacDonald, and along with Raymond Misek, I'm one of the co-producers of tonight's concert. And also, I'll be co-emceeing tonight along with Sonny Oakes. Ron Olesko, our usual main MC, is at the Surfa Folk Alliance Festival this weekend, so I'm pinch hitting for him. Hi, Sonny, you there?
I'm here and I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to tonight's show. I know so many of these people.
Yes, we do. You do, definitely. Well, it's nice to see you. How you doing up there in upstate New York? Sonny, you just had a birthday, didn't you?
86.
Wow.
I can't get my head around the number, but I'm trying. I'm still going strong.
All
and
right.
It's so beautiful up here. I cannot have a better place to be.
It's spring has sprung, May flowers, and all the rain's over.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. Well, we have a great show tonight. I got a couple of quick announcements to make before we get started. We have, as of a few days ago, we were expecting Robin and Linda Williams to join us tonight. They were forced to withdraw from the concert tonight because Linda, who's had shoulder surgery recently, sustained kind of a swelling in her arm. I think it's her right arm, actually. And her doctor advised her not to play any instruments for a week or two and let the swelling go down. So they had to cancel on us, and they both wrote me a very nice note saying that they're very sorry. They were really excited about playing tonight and looking forward to it. So we'll do our best to get Robin and Linda Williams back at a future time. That gave us the opportunity to get our good friend Happy Traum to join us tonight. So let me give you the lineup of who you're going to see. In this order, we'll be seeing Daniel Kaner, David Fader, Rachel Garland, Jackson Emmer, Dan and Claudia Zanes, Joe Jenks, Tom Prasada Rao, Greg Greenway, Kate Taylor, and Happy Traum between now and 10 o'clock. And I guarantee you're going to hear and see some great music tonight. So get comfortable, get nice and relaxed, and tune us and sit tight, tune us in, we'll be here. We also had a couple really truly legendary performers pass away in the past month. I'm speaking specifically of Harry Belafonte and Gordon Lightfoot. I had a very interesting experience of driving through rural North Carolina about 10 days ago and listening to a group of people do a radio documentary about Harry Belafonte, who they all refer to as Mr. B. And one of the more amazing things that came out about it was that though his really high-profile singing career kind of stopped some time ago, he was 96 when he passed away, he mentored quite a few of today's rap artists. I don't think anybody knew this. I certainly didn't. He made himself available to a lot of the urban poets in the rap music scene, and he went and spoke to them in groups and individually and said to them that he really wanted to stress that they had a platform, they had a microphone, and they should use it for the betterment of their people and all people. And he remained all his life a very committed activist to social justice, equal rights, and also economic justice for people. He was an ambassador for the United Nations for many years, dealing with issues in poverty, and he used to go to countries around Europe, Asia, and Latin America and drop in on the local highest rated television program in the area, do a couple of songs, and then go out into the villages and do some extraordinary organizing work. I think Mr. Belafonte was an incredible performer, of course, and very influential musician, but I wanted to mention the truly good work that he also did on the private side. And what can we say about Gordon Lightfoot, of course, a man who had a couple #1 songs on the pop charts after a lengthy career as a folk music star, writing songs like Early Morning Rain and For Lovin' Me and a whole bunch of great songs. Went on to write the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald and Sundown, and If You Could Read My Mind. I believe he had 2 #1 songs and 3 or 4 top 10 tunes in the 1970s, and continued touring pretty much right up till the end of his life. Certainly will be missed, and I've been hearing a lot of tributes to him on the radio this week. I'd like to say thanks to the people who are behind the scenes making this concert possible. That would be my fellow co-producer Raymond Misek, Andrea Klosky, who handles our website, along with Jerry Kornbluth, and Brandon O'Sullivan, who's behind the scenes doing our tech work tonight. Thank you, guys. We sure couldn't do this without you. On the pages on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the Greenwich Village Folk Festival website, if you're seeing this, wherever you are watching it, somewhere there's a link to what is basically a tip jar, a donation link. The longer one on Facebook, the one that seems that's way too hard for me to memorize, comes without any fees. So if you can use that one, that's very useful. And we give the vast majority of the donations that we receive to the performers. And ladies and gentlemen, all the performers that you will see tonight are professional entertainers, and certainly can use your support. So please help out if you can. This is the we are well into our third year. In July, we will be celebrating our third anniversary of these online concerts. And we want to say, I use the editorial we, I guess, here. We want to say a profound thank you to all the wonderful performers we've had during this time, some of whom you're going to see tonight joining us. I think that's it for the official spiel, and let's get to the music. Our first performer tonight is coming to us, I believe, from London, where he no doubt was playing somewhere during the coronation yesterday, I hope. But his name is Daniel Kaner. Daniel's been with us a couple of times. We generally have him on to start the show because where he is, it's probably after midnight by about now. But Daniel is an award-winning musical storyteller. He has written and recorded many truly beautiful songs about his family life, his upbringing, his grandparents, his early experiences, and many of them very, very funny and heartwarming at the same time. A rare accomplishment, I think, for a songwriter to be able to do that. He says in his bio that his music has launched at least one car and several washing machines. He'll also, I want to mention, be doing some live performing both in the United States and in the United Kingdom in the next few months. He'll be appearing at the Folk Project in New Jersey on May 30th. He'll also be appearing at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in August, at the Rochester Fringe in September. I'm not sure where that is exactly. Maybe he can tell you if that's Rochester, New York, or Rochester somewhere else. And also at the end of September and October, doing a 3-week stint at the Soho Playhouse in New York City. We're delighted to have him back, one of our favorite singers and players. Would you please give a big welcome to Daniel Kaner.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction, Rod. And actually, yes, it is the Rochester, New York Fringe, where I'll be there for a couple of days in mid-September. Anyway, that is way off. That is then. This is all about now. And now here in London, although it is past midnight, it's been quite a weekend. As you can imagine, with the coronation and all that kind of thing. And I've been, I don't know how many of you have been looking at the footage of the coronation or watched it live or all those things, or what you made of it. I mean, I sort of, really what I was trying to do is think, well, half the time I was thinking this is amazing stuff, and the other time it really bewilders me, all of it. I'm sort of stuck in between, oscillating all the time about what it is. And so I thought, well, it should be really, as my job as a songwriter, it should be something to try and write something about this. And in fact, that's what I'm going to play for you now. But it's a bit rough at the edges, I'm afraid, because I've only just done it. And of course, I've heard some other music between having finished this and playing it for you. Which, of course, well, it's a bit like a charcoal drawing. If anybody does that, before if you don't fix it with the spray, it just rubs off, and that's a bit like a song that's just written before you have time to sort of bed it in. So anyway, that's my excuse. There's also a few jokes in here and references that may be specifically English, and I haven't really got time to set them all up. Apart from the fact there is the joke about Jeremy Clarkson, and I do think he has crossed the pond actually, because he was one of the presenters of Top Gear, and he now has a farm. Anyway, that is about that. This is the second time I've played this. The first was at our Coronation Street party this afternoon. Here we go. God Save the King. I know that is in America. That tune has been appropriated with a different lyric, but for us, it is now. It was God Save the Queen for a long time, but now it's God Save the King. Who knew? Once upon a time, the king was thought to be divine, but that was so far down the line, no one can remember. They had all these difficult decisions to make, like off with their heads and let me cake. Who is this man? Why is he here? What does he do? What do we care? A bloke, a cloak, a wooden chair, an orb, a crown, a sceptre, all that pageantry and all that fuss. Why one of them and not one of us? Nobody does it better. If you like this kind of thing, keep us in our places, they're all basket cases. So God save us, God save the King. Whoops, need to do this, whoops, need to do this. A golden coach, a marching band, the officers of the high command, the fairest folk in all the land, the palace and the castle, all the trappings of a fairy tale, though one of them should be locked up in jail. House of Windsor, house of cards, posing for the photographs, the real crown with the real cars. Apart from Meghan Markle, the royal family is dressed to kill. They put on a show, then they send us the bill. With this story we'd been smitten by Disney and the Brothers Grimm. Since the Stone Ages on illuminated pages, may God save us and God save the King. He's no Champagne Charlie, he'd rather have a gin. Bonnie Prince Charlie, not exactly him. He's lived his life inside a kind of chocolate factory. He was born with a golden ticket, now he's called Your Majesty. Bear skins in the pouring rain, the link in the unbroken chain, royal blood in the royal vein, how nicely they all scrub up. Golden spurs on the golden plate, nothing occurs a second early or late. They say we say I, the pledge allegiance to the sky, but no one mentions Princess Di. You couldn't make this stuff up. God is good and Britain is great. The rich man in his castle, the poor man at his gate. It's the tradition, the smoke and the mirrors and spin. Whilst we're still in the papers, let's have tea with all the neighbours. May God save us and God save the King. He's got a stately home near Gloucester and some land he farms on. You could say he is the thinking woman's Jeremy Clarkson. And if down the A433 you happen to ride, you'll pass the duchy on the left-hand side. Nobody does it better if you like this kind of thing. They keep us in our places, they're all basket cases. Since the Stone Ages on illuminated pages, while it's still in all the papers, let's have tea with the neighbours. Wave your flag and cheer, and raise your glass of beer. Say hip hip hooray to him. God save the King. keep doing this riff, I might get sued by Marvin Gaye's estate, just like Ed Sheeran. Let's get it on. This probably gets us into some sort of copyright infringement, ASCAP BMI situation. In fact, they've just had a celebratory concert for the King, and Lionel Richie was the headliner. And he was easy, easy like a Sunday morning. Basically, everybody would get sued, wouldn't they, if they just did this? God save the King. Well, that is the sound of you know, rapturous applause across the pond. Thank you very much for all that. And that's my little take on the coronation. This next piece, I don't know. A lot of the time, I have, particularly lately, I have been rather bewildered by the state of the world, really. And when this sort of happens, I do try to keep it in perspective. I try and remember to be grateful for what I have and what I haven't got. And this is a piece that reflects that. Is it just me, or do the days these days go by that much more quickly than they did? So many strange things going on, so many pieces of the puzzle that don't fit. I watch the sunset on the western sea. The light plays on the water, and it seems to me that I am blessed to be here, despite all the unrest and the way it may appear. I'm grateful for what I'm about to receive. Let me be grateful for all that I've achieved. And when I'm looking for a place to hide, when I feel broken inside, remind me, grateful. That's how I want to be. Just look around, it doesn't take that much to be confused or get upset. When the world seems upside down, and what you see is not always what you get. There's been so many things I should have done, and so many others that I would not have done. Had I known then what I know today, but then again, I'd not have learned along the way to be grateful. When it's not quite how I imagine, I'll be grateful for the lights and sounds and action. When I can't tell wrong from right, when I'm wound up far too tight, release me. Grateful. That's how I want to be. How much you're pushed, how much you're pulled, how much you wish, how much you wait, how much you pray. And if you don't get what you want, then what you want's not what you needed anyway. Zoom out the camera lens, and what do we see? The Earth, the Moon, the planets, and the galaxy. And I am just a speck of dust, lost somewhere in my own universe. grateful. Hark the herald angels sing, come all ye faithful, and give thanks for everything when all is said and done, for all that's yet to come. Help me to be grateful. Grateful, grateful, grateful. Let's just hold that moment for a minute with a bit of gratitude, and then contemplate the weather. We talk a lot about the weather here. The weather. It was a lovely day today, actually. It was pouring with rain for the coronation, but generally the weather patterns have been a little bit unpredictable. You might have noticed. So here is a little something about that. And basically, this will be my last song, so thank you very much for listening. And maybe join me at one of these concerts that Rod has mentioned. The next one is for the New Jersey Folk Project. I'll be doing it from here, from London, but it'll be going out on the 30th of May at a sensible time, not silly o'clock, which it is for me right now. So thank you again for listening, and see you on the other side of all this. The weather and the environment. Discuss. Well, I should mention this just got nominated for an award, this song. How about that? Don't tell Greta I'm getting on a plane, and then I'm gonna get her another one home again. Don't tell Greta about the things I'm buying. They're arriving all the time on Amazon Prime, while the real Amazon is dying. Don't tell Greta about all this. She'll slap me on the wrist. I already know that I should know better, so don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta I went to the store, but I didn't take a carrier bag, though I've got about 100 at home in the drawer. Don't tell Greta I've been driving too far for work and leisure, though the fuel costs more than the car. Don't tell Greta she won't be pleased. She'll turn me into the Green Police, and I'll be singing this song a cappella. So don't tell Greta. We treat Greta like we treat Gaia, despite the famine and the flooding and the fire. It's like God has sent us Greta to make us get our act together, and remind us everywhere we go we make and break and take the weather. Don't tell Greta outside it's 100 degrees, but you gotta wear a sweater when you're getting your groceries. Don't tell Greta reality bites. Paramass and test kits floating in the cesspits, filling up the landfill sites. We pile those plastics onto boats and dump them on the tropical coast. Packed up with a little umbrella, so don't you, Greta. It's getting hotter, there's no denying. But we're still racing, we're still chasing, we're still flying. As we burn, baby, burn, past the point of no return. This is the sound of human nature's mother nature crying. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. We're out of control. On Twitter and Meta, they're still powered by oil and coal. But don't tell Greta. She may not have a shot. It's like running in front of a runaway train and willing it to stop. Don't tell Greta, enough's enough. We're gonna keep doing the same old stuff and carrying on like we never met her. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta.
Blah, blah, blah. Net zero by 2050. Blah, blah, blah. Climate neutral. Blah, blah, blah. This is all we hear. Words. Our hopes and dreams drown in empty promises. Hope is telling the truth. Hope is taking action. And hope
Don't tell Greta.
Hey, Daniel, that was great. Hey, Daniel, where were you during the coronation yesterday? Where,
Well, I was
were you hanging out?
I was watching it on the telly, so at home in West London, near Shepherd's Bush. Yeah, although it was very far away, maybe about 3 miles away. Today we had this, as many people did, closed the road, and got some music on the street and people dancing and all the bunting out and scones and tea and jam. I mean, remarkable, really.
I watched a little of it, and I don't want to take a lot of time here, but I watched a little of it last night on a playback, and I was struck by the fact that despite the fact that they're elevating and acknowledging this guy to this supreme status, the entire ceremony was about basically beseeching God to look down on the king, or to look kindly on the king, to help the king through it. There was no part of the ceremony that I saw that said, hey, this guy's great, we love him, he's a super dude. None of that kind of stuff. It was all very about God and drawing him into this. It was all a very religious thing.
Well, it's all a little bit antiquated, isn't it, really? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous if you start looking. Well, everything in life is ridiculous if you start putting magnifying glass on it, isn't it? Let's face it. And it is sort of bizarre and out of place and all those things, and yet remarkable. And they have all this stuff, and it's been there for hundreds of years, and they just get it out of the cupboard, twice a century. So that's kind of interesting in itself. So all of that, I find myself, like I say, drawn to it, sort of slightly proud of it in lots of ways, and also sort of just, WTF as well. There were some people, in fact, that were sort of anti-royalists who were protesting, and they had signs up that said "Not my king" and things like that, for understandable reasons. But anyway, they were quickly rounded up and carted off and put in the dungeons temporarily, and I think they possibly were made to watch old episodes of Meghan Markle in Suits or something like that as their punishment.
Well, thanks, Daniel. It's great to see you, and maybe I'll get a chance to meet up with you sometime on your travels in America this coming summer. All right. Daniel Kaner, everybody. Well, our next performer is a gentleman that I have worked with and met down here in, well, let's see if I can get this going here. Let's see, where are you, Dave? Let's see if we can get Dave up here. Okay. I've been one of the great things in I think the folk music world of today is the fact that there are some really outstanding people playing in just a locality where perhaps most people don't even know they're there. One of those places, of course, is the Florida Keys, and thousands, if not millions, of people go there every year as tourists, and probably, you know, see our next gentleman play somewhere and go, wow, that guy was really good, and then don't remember, you know, 3 days later where they were or why they were there. But such is the tourist industry. But I've had the good fortune to hang and play with Dave Fader a little bit in some more artistic situations, and so I want to tell you a little bit about him. David is a self-styled flamenco folk artist as a guitarist, and one of the among the credits that he's amassed in his career is being featured on NPR's All Things Considered, on the World Cafe nationally syndicated show, had a #1 song on the Broad Jam World Music Chart called, I believe it's Black Emeralds. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah,
Did I
Black
get that
Emerald.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you play, Dave, and how about I just hand it over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome David Fader.
Thanks, Rod. It was really great to hear you at the Bay Jam this year. That was amazing. We had a lot of fun, and I think I might have played at that event, but I don't really remember whether I played or not because I was running it. I don't want to take up a lot of time talking because my voice is going, and I am unfortunately not singing tonight. You could tell I only have a few words in there right now, but years of martial arts screaming has destroyed my voice, but hopefully I'll be getting it back sometime. And if you hear strange noises, my dog is down there. So the song I'm going to do for you is a really good example of what we call hillbilly flamenco. I grew up playing, Leo Kottke style guitar, and then I learned some Spanish guitar after I fired my blues band back in the mid-'80s. And this song is called The Bun. It was written for my son when he was in the womb. So I'm going to play you a piece of it. The intro is from a song called Dogma Condom, which I'm not allowed to sing the words to it in Florida anyway, because I get shot at. You know, it's open carry here, so. fell off the guitar in the beginning there. Thanks. The sound still okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. So that song is called "The Bun," and it was written for my son Nyan, his nickname is the Bun, kind of the bun in the oven. He's a touring musician now, lives in Nashville, plays saxophone and guitar. Now I'm going to play you kind of stuff that I've been working on lately, and everything I play is what's the word? Improvisational. I have a framework for it all, but I'm going to play you a piece of a song that my wife dreamed. It's called "The Bobit Zaw," and it's a very interesting dream, but the crux of it is there was this dance, which was an acrobatic tango, which she woke up, and normally she wakes up and punches me because I was bad in her dream, but this time she woke up and told me about a dance, and the name was the Bobit Zaw, and she kind of acted it out for me with this kind of backwards acrobatic tango. So I wrote the song, and it's one of my favorites now to perform live with the band too. So here we go. If you're counting along, it's mostly in 5. That's the Bobid Za. Thanks, guys. I got one more for you. This is a song. I don't know how many of you guys know Lisa Gutkin. She's a fiddle player. I know Rod worked with her for a while. We adopted her years ago, and when the Klezmatics were playing down here, and she sat in with the band, with my band, and I was so taken with her that I hired her every chance we could to get her, and every chance we could get her, and she's I don't get a chance to play with her a lot, but I wrote this song for her called Lisa's Song, and I wrote the violin part, and then I didn't see her for about 8 years, and finally she came down you can look up on YouTube, there's a version of her finally playing it at some rinky-dink, island, seaside place, and she just killed it. And I wish she was with me right now, because last time we played together, she was in this studio, and we played it on my normal Sunday night show. But anyway, this is Lisa's song, and I'll give you an abbreviated version, and I'll try to play her part and my part. lot longer with the fiddle.
Very, very nice.
Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me here.
Thank you, Dave. Really pleasure to listen to you play and to have you here with us. Thanks for joining us. You folks that would like to see Dave Fader, if you happen to be down in Isla Mirada in the Florida Keys, you can find him playing some of the rinky-dink joints, I imagine, from time to time. He also is one of the organizers of the Isla Mirada Music Association, I believe it's called. Did I get that right?
Isla Mirada Community Entertainment, yep.
Community Entertainment Association, which sponsors some of the local festivals in the area and some other events. And he does a show most Sunday nights at 8 o'clock on Facebook. So if you want to see Dave again, you have a chance to do that. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
Well, our next performer is a Harvard graduate who lives in San Francisco with her wife and 3 kids. And not all that quietly, she's played Newport, Telluride, Kerrville, and Edinburgh Fringe festivals and made 8 studio albums as well, and is one of the artists, at least 2 tonight that I know of, who have brand new recordings coming out. In June, a new album called The Ballad of Madeline and Therese. I had a chance to talk to Rachel a little bit before the show in the last couple of days, and she told me she's releasing it both as a CD, I believe a USB, and as an LP. So without further ado, I'd like to let her tell you about it herself. But would you please welcome a really, really fine songwriter and singer, Rachel Garland.
Thank you, Rod. Welcome to Greenwich Village, everyone. I'm coming to you from San Francisco, but virtually I'm in the village with you tonight. Like Rod said, I have a record coming out June 2nd, and it takes place in the 1940s in New York City. And it involves a love story between Madeline and Therese. They were each married to men, but they had a love affair over a bunch of years. And the 13 songs on the album tell the full cycle of their love story, including the longing, the hurt, the jealousy, the fun, the discovery, and the adventure. If you seek a more pleasant place, a more pleasant beach, speak to me. No secret hurts more than denying me some simple words. Words I need to know that you know me. Speak to me about the way you talk about me when I'm not there. Do you tell your friends that you put your hands in places where I'm weak? Need you to speak. How could I leave and then believe it would be different the second time around your friends? Let me guess, I'm not the person that anyone expects to be your next, to be your one. Not in the light, not in the sun. No, speak to me about the way you talk about me when I'm not there. Do you tell your friends that you put your hands in places where I'm weak? Need you to speak. Speak to me. Tell me why you chase this. Speak to me, or just erase this. If you dare to go there, then and tell me why you deny that you're ashamed, that you still escape into this embrace. But you can't speak it to my face. No, speak to me about the way you talk about me when I'm not there. Do you tell your friends that you put your hands in places where I'm weak? Need you to speak. Need you to speak. I need you to speak to me. I need you. I need you. I need you to speak. Thank you. So these women had to love each other in the margins of society, and they used code words to identify other women like them, other lesbians. Instead of saying that someone was gay, they would say, yeah, I think that woman might be a little bit peculiar or scholarly, or maybe she's someone who stands up on the train. And it was kind of a wink-wink to let other people know who is who in this subculture. So this song is a letter from Madeline and Therese, using those code words and trying to beckon her lover out to a speakeasy. Crossing in the rain, I see you running for a train from the window of my driver's side. Meet me in an hour in the back room at the bar. Show me who you are tonight. 'Cause though I've often lied about the feelings that I hide and made some reservations in a nom de guerre, emancipation hums more audibly to some, and I'm ready now to listen to your stare. Oh, please, Therese, help yourself to my disease. I am tired of having lovers on the side, and I believe that we could be peculiar and at ease, because we're well beyond a cure, but we're alive. Superfluous berets, tomato sandwiches on trays. I am studied in the ways to fake a life. It's common as a beer to be pretentious, insincere, and I've sliced it in both ways with a pocket knife. And aren't you awful scholarly, remarkable, alert? And do you stand up reading on the evening train? You are contralto, secure, somewhat marvelous, demure, and I'm ready now to call you by my name. Oh, oh, please, Therese, help yourself to my disease. I am tired of having lovers on the side, and I believe that we could be peculiar and at ease, because we're well beyond a cure, but we're alive. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, please, Therese, help yourself to my disease. I am tired of having lovers on the side, and I believe that we could be peculiar and at ease, because we're well beyond a cure, but we're alive. Emancipation comes from the dissidence of some, and I'm ready now to live while I'm alive.
Yay! everyone for coming out tonight. I know there are people tuning in from different parts of the country and world. We see you, we appreciate you, and I'm enjoying my evening down here in the village, and I hope to see everyone again soon.
I was told the flaxen is the weaker shade of gold. The butterscotch medallion beats a honey marigold. And there's a field just east of Paris teeming with a mustard seed, a Dijon that is lashed before it's sold. And there's a shade of yellow that is dragons breathing fire inside a coal. I can be a letter opener or keep it sealed. I can deal a better poker face when I'm revealed. I cannot upset the way of things like napkin rings that clatter through a meal. But I'll not assume the yellow of a red canary buried in a field. Yellow to remember, yellow to be kind, yellow for my darling, yellow darkness, yellow light, yellow-bellied river, through the yellow dust you wind. I've got yellow, 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 yellow on my mind. Sometimes you meet lovers who are dying to grow old, covered in their covers, they are flanneled and controlled. And there isn't room for Tuscan sun or pineapple or daffodil or flame. Sometimes you meet others who are swirling in the certainty of change. Oh, amber-colored planets spinning endlessly through outer space. Yellow to remember, yellow to be kind, yellow for my darling, yellow darkness, yellow light, yellow-bellied river, through the yellow dust you wind. I've got yellow, 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 yellow on my mind. I've got yellow, 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 yellow on my mind.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel. Hey, Rachel, if anybody wanted to find your new CD or LP or USB or whatever format it is, where would they find it?
Yeah, I have a website, rachelgarland.com, and everyone's invited to the album release June 2nd here in San Francisco.
And that's RACHELGARLIN.com. Great. Thanks so much. Really good. Loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely.
Well, that brings me to one thing I want to mention to you folks at home, which this is a free concert, of course. The Greenwich Village Folk Festival has always been a free concert since 1987 when we first started it, but we do welcome donations, which we like to share with the performers. In fact, most of it goes to the performers. So if you can put something in the tip jar or use one of the sites online, that's very, very welcome to us, a big help in keeping us going. On Facebook, on the Greenwich Village Folk Festival page, there are a couple links. One is longer than the other. The longer one doesn't take any fees, so if you can use that, that's a good one. I believe it's also on YouTube and on the Greenwich Village Folk Festival page. I'm on Zoom. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure you can find it. Please, if you can spare anything, it's very valuable to us and to the performers in keeping all of this going. And if you can't, that's up to you. Please enjoy the music anyway. Don't feel like you can't listen or watch. You're probably wondering by now, where's Sonny Oaks? But we're gonna have one more performer, and then Sonny's gonna come in here and charm you. So let's get on with it. Our next performer hails from the town of Carbondale, Colorado, a beautiful little town, incidentally, if you're ever out that way, that has a wonderful little arts and music community. I've played there a couple times. And he's been featured in Rolling Stone and is on 1,200 Spotify playlists. Pretty amazing, I'd have to say. But he came to the Greenwich Village Folk Festival recently. We became aware of this gentleman because he was invited to participate in our recent tribute to Tom Paxton. He has written more than 40 songs as a co-write with Tom Paxton, one of the, of course, most notorious and beloved songwriters in American folk music. We had him in the January concert as a tribute to Tom, and after hearing his one song that he played in the show, we immediately said, we got to get this guy back and have him do a set of his own songs. So, Jackson Emmer, are you all set? Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Jackson Emmer.
Thank you for having me here and for listening. This is really a treat, and all the other artists are incredible. I've been enjoying just taking it all in. I'm here from Carbondale, Colorado. I'm going to start with a couple songs that I wrote with Tom Paxton, my friend, and man, he's a legend for all the right reasons, so I'm honored to know him. We're going to dive into it. This is Johnny Turnblatt and Tequila Sunrise, a song about washed-up musicians. And as Tom likes to say, our last dive bar gig is always ahead of us. Here we go. On a rattlesnake highway, 2 miles from nowhere, sagebrush and tumbleweeds staking their claim. Sheet metal roof peeled back like a bean can, windows blown out and the front doors the same. The billboard remains and still catches the eyes. Johnny Turnblatt tonight with Tequila Sunrise. Johnny Turnblatt, are you out there somewhere on a faded marquee with the wind in your hair, laying down licks while the old-timers stare and the waitresses pray for a hot millionaire? These days you playing with a bunch of new guys, but you're still Johnny Turnblatt with Tequila Sunrise. Dreams of big shows at the best rodeos, the arenas, the women, the wine. Ragged as denim, now fading away. But he gives it his all every time he's on stage. The nightclubs burn down or just go out of business. The bus will take $8,000 to fix. The agent has 10 brand new hot bands to handle. The gigs are all now further out in the sticks. But it's onward and upward and hope never dies for old Johnny Turnblad with Tequila Sunrise. Yeah, it's onward and upward and hope never dies for old Johnny Turnblad and Tequila Sunrise. Thanks so much. Thank you. So yeah, I generally, when I write songs with Tom, we do it on Zoom. And I wake up and I scribble down a bunch of weird ideas that I think Tom might be interested in, and then I read him the list, and he goes, "Oh, that's it." Or he goes, "I don't know, let's keep looking." But on this one day, I rolled out of bed and I wrote down the phrase "cornflakes and whiskey," hangover song. And Tom got very excited about that, so we wrote "Cornflakes and Whiskey." Here we go. Cornflakes and whiskey and someone else's toothbrush, a good sign I've had too much, who's to say? Guess I got frisky, blame that on the animal in me. This Jubilee. Went to bed in San Francisco, woke up in Corpus Christi. Cornflakes and whiskey. I was at the jukebox, very next thing I knew, I was dancing two-step with a pretty girl named Sue. We sat in the corner, we had a drink or 10. Next thing I hear is the preacher saying, "Kiss the bride, amen." Cornflakes and whiskey, someone else's toothbrush, good sign I've had too much, who's to say? Guess I got frisky, blame that on the animal in me. This Jubilee. Went to bed in San Francisco, woke up in Corpus Christi. Cornflakes and whiskey on the fiddle. And the bass. They say I robbed a bank, they say I stole a tank, they say I freed 2 tigers from the zoo. There was a 1,000-mile car chase, wound back up at my place. My lawyer wants to blame it all on Sue. And I do too. Cornflakes and whiskey and someone else's toothbrush, a good sign I've had too much, who's to say? Guess I got frisky, who? Blame that on the animal in me. This Jubilee. Went to bed in San Francisco, woke up in Corpus Christi. Cornflakes and whiskey, cornflakes and whiskey, yeah. Cornflakes and... Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. The song's really silly. I know it. This next song has a couple cameo characters in it. Ableton, electronic music software, and 808s used in hip-hop that now people use in country and folk music. And the whole premise of the song is that I had COVID and I was locked in a room, sick while my wife took care of our daughter, and on day 3 of just sweating and being completely useless, I decided, I was like, I gotta do something for my family today. I gotta write a song. Like, what a silly, ridiculous thing. for a folk singer to do, but that's what we do. So I wrote this song called Country Music's Coming Back, and it really doesn't have anything to do with COVID. It's just happened to be me laying there just totally conked out writing this thing. Here we go. And also thanks to everybody at the festival for having me, and to everyone for listening. It's a cool way to hang out. So here's the song. Jack and Jill got tech jobs. Now they only work remote. Both their bellies getting softer from the days just writing code. All night long they're prowling Zillow. They say one day they'll buy a farm. The city's getting to me, darling. Let's go someplace with some charm. Then I ran into a pop star. Their career was in the pits. They said the kids won't buy the records now that they're pushing 36. So they moved on down to Nashville and started name-dropping George Jones. They're closing every show with Haggard while reading lyrics off their phone. They say country music's coming back. Now keep your auto-tune and fake drum tracks. Now give me steel guitars and Cadillacs and the lonesome fiddle blues. Now keep your Ableton and 808. Give me 3 chords and the truth all day. Some chicken picking on the railroad tracks. They say country music's coming back. So I headed down to YouTube for some reaction videos. That's where I saw a couple brothers listening to music they don't know. They're crying to Hank Williams, Cash and Willie too. Still I won't forget their faces when they first heard Emmylou. They say country music's coming back. Keep your auto-tune and fake drum tracks. Give me steel guitars and Cadillacs and the lonesome fiddle blues. Keep your Ableton and 808. Give me 3 chords and the truth all day. Some chicken picking on the railroad tracks. They say country music's coming back. Me, myself, I was a hippie in a faded tie-dye shirt, long hair and a long board. Sometimes I even wore a skirt. Then one day I heard my hero, Jerry Garcia, play the banjo with Vassar Clements on the fiddle. And it blew my little mind. They say country music's coming back. Keep your auto-tune and fake drum tracks. Give me steel guitars and Cadillacs and the lonesome fiddle blues. Keep your Ableton and 808. Give me 3 chords and the truth all day. Some chicken picking by the railroad tracks. They say country music's coming back. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for having me here. I'm Jackson Emmer, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Jackson. I never heard you before. I was quite impressed. Really, really nice set, interesting songs. And you wrote a couple of them with my friend Tom Paxton. He and I were born the same year. It was a good year. quality folks born. Anyhow, I'm Sonny Oakes, and I've been hanging out in the folk world for quite a while now and doing lots of things, seen lots of people, met lots of people. And I'll tell you, it is such a joy to start out by introducing the next duo, because they are what folk music should be. They are just incredible. I think that they met, Dan Zanes has been around for a while, and he's been doing music, and he has performed with other people. But I think it was 2016, he met a woman named Claudia, and it was just instant, togetherness. And the music was together, and the music was great. And the next thing you know, they were married. So now they're really together, and they do what I call feel-good music. If you really want to see them, if you go into YouTube, that's where I was watching them. It's just they exude joy. That's all I can say. So without further ado, that's all I'm going to say about them. If you want to find out more, just, use Google, Google Dan and Claudia Zanes, and you can learn so much about them. And now you're going to get to hear them. Here they are.
Thank you so much, Sonny. What an introduction. Great to see you again. Great to hear everybody. Yeah.
So good to be back.
Absolutely.
We've been playing live a little bit, quite a bit more, so it's nice to come back to a gig where we don't have to wear pants if we don't want to. So thanks for having us. And we're working on a new record for Smithsonian Folkways, and we're going to try out a couple things on you here tonight. This first one's called Walking and Talking Baltimore.
All right. If you want to sing along, some simple parts you can sing, okay? 3 lines. Someday you will grow, and we do this with our hands when we grow. Someday you will go, you're going to point to that direction. Someday you will know, and then walking and talking Baltimore. Okay?
Prettiest people that I've ever seen, walking and talking Baltimore, either in real life or in a dream. Walking and talking Baltimore. Someday you will grow, someday you will go, someday you will know. Walking and talking Baltimore.
Well, it's a city of poets, a city of songs.
Walking and talking Baltimore.
Did somebody say there's a party going on?
Walking and talking Baltimore. Someday you will grow, someday you will go, someday you will know. Walking and talking Baltimore. Where you can talk about mystery, you can talk about chance. I'm walking and talking Baltimore. Yeah, they got their own style, their own kind of dance. I'm walking and talking Baltimore. Someday you will grow, someday you will go, someday you will know. Walking and talking Baltimore.
All right, sometimes, I love jazz music, I love folk music, I love it all. We're going to do a little bit of scatting together. I'm going to sing something to you, you're going to sing it back to me. We're all going to scat here in this space together. Okay, repeat after me. Ba, 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 da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, ba. Shooby-dooby-doo-wop-a-doo-wop, whoa. Yeah. Diddly-diddly-diddly-diddly-diddly-diddly-dop. Shooby-doo-bop-bop-a-doo-wee-wee. Okay, try this. We're walking and a talking Baltimore. Walking and a talking Baltimore. One more. A walking, a talking, a Baltimore. Woo!
All right, well done.
Very nice. All right. Thank you so much. That was so fun. That's one of our new tunes. This next song is a Haitian folk song that's been around for a very long time. My family comes from the island of Haiti, Haiti, the first black republic. And this is a song that has been sung all over the island. It's called Saint-Tifi qui tap cuit yon poule, which means there was once a girl who was cooking some chicken. Now, the story about this song is, you know, the family was out, I don't know what they were doing, they were out on the town, and mom's at home preparing dinner for everyone to come back. So she's getting all the spices, the pilon is out, the épices is out, and that's the spices and the stuff to mash the spices. And she gets this big old pot that she puts on the stove. She's preparing this wonderful meal for her family. She puts the chicken in the pot. Now what happens is she seasoned the chicken, she put it in the pot, and then she starts to stir the pot, but guess what happened? The chicken bursts through the pot, flies across the room, and dinner is on its way out the door. So in this song, we're talking about the preparation of this meal, and she's saying, you know what, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. And I talked to my mom about this, because I was like, Mom, where did this song come from? She's like, it's all about how, it's about the order of operations, Claudia. You got to kill the chicken before you cook the chicken. So the chicken got away, and so what we're going to say in this song is, pap pale. Pap pale, which means I'm not saying a word. The family's coming home. They're going to look for dinner. We're going to pretend we don't know what's going on. Chicken's just not here. Okay? So pap pale is your part in this song. It goes like this. Pour la pété chaudière, pour la voler la lème, pas parler. Son petit fille qui tape cuiton pour la pété chaudière, pour la voler la lème, pas parler. Pas parler, pas parler, pas parler, pas causer. Son petit fille qui tape cuiton pour la pété chaudière, pour la voler la lème, pas parler. Son pipi qui t'a pris ton pour la pété chaudière, pour la voler la lème, pas parler. Pas parler. Pas dit Clamounio, pas dit Marie-Mouin, pas dit Simounio, pas dit Grand-Manoin, pas dit Maman-Mouin, pas dit Papa-Mouin. Papa, son petit qui tape cuiton pour la pété chaudière, pour la voler la lème, papa, son petit qui tape cuiton pour la pété chaudière, pour la voler la lème, papa, pas dit comme yo, pas dit maman moi, pas dit comme moi. Padi aucun Padi Marie-Mouin, Padi moun sou kote, Padi aucun moun pa koze. All right. A little Haitian folk tune for you. And we have one more for you all tonight. Dan's getting out the 12 string for this.
All right, Summer's here. This is from our last record, Let Love Be Your Guide. This is a song, most of the time, we put on the songs that we like the best, but most of our audiences are all ages audiences, and so we try and get some of the ones that the young folks will identify with in some way, and also dance to. And this one, who can't identify with Long Hot Summer Nights, but it's not the great dance floor burner. So, but we're gonna play it right here.
It's a fun one, though. Yeah.
And you can find your way in for the sing along part. And again, it's just so good to be here, to have a seat on this train of stardom that we've got going here at the Greenwich Village Folk Festival.
Absolutely.
All right, long hot summer nights, and it's also, Sonny, you're right. When I met Claudia, we started singing the day that we met, and our first date was Claudia was living in Boston, I was living in New York. We met. She went back to Boston, and I had a show the next month at the Old Town School of Folk Music, and so I called Claudia up and asked her if she'd like to join me for that show. And then we talked every day leading up to the show. By the time it was show time, it wasn't just a show, it was a date. It was our first date at the Old Town School of Folk Music. So, and I knew the day that we met that Claudia was the person I've been dreaming about my whole life. So, long hot summer nights. Here we go. Every ray of the sun tells you it's endless, but the clouds in the sky say, well, it won't last. Take the cool morning breeze when you would lie awake in thoughts of a better time. Don't let them pass. Can you hold on and remember when September comes? Think of all the laughter and the songs we sung through the long hot summer nights, when all the neighbors put their chairs outside, and I could see the stars in your eyes, in the long hot summer nights.
Now it's work and it's school, no time to linger as the nights grow cooler and it fades too soon. Take the joy that you felt when we were dancing. Let it shine like the midnight moon.
Try and hold on and remember now that September's come. Think of all the laughter and the songs we sung through the long hot summer nights, when all the neighbors took their chairs outside, and I could see the stars in your eyes through the long hot summer nights. And my heart is true. I believe in August and I believe in you. When you're down and it's cold, I'll be somebody you can have and hold, someone you can turn to, someone who knows about the long hot summer nights, when all the neighbors took their chairs outside, and I could see the stars in your eyes through the long hot summer night. Do you remember all the long hot summer nights, when all the neighbors took their chairs outside? Whoa, and I could see the stars in your eyes through the long hot summer night.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Where can one get that album? Your latest album.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Wherever you can stream music, our website, danandclaudia.com. You can pick it up there if you want a hard copy. But yeah, Spotify, any of those, Apple Music, you can get it out there on the interwebs.
Okay, you are just as wonderful as ever. I've so enjoyed your music.
Oh,
Thank you so much for being here.
We love
Appreciate
you.
it.
It's great
Yes,
to be
thank
here.
you so much, Sonny.
All righty. Bye-bye. And now, this is going to be so much fun. Oh, by the way, don't forget the tip jar. That really is important. These performers are so good and they work so hard, and this is their income. So please Visit our tip jar wherever you're watching and donate nicely. And one other thing before I forget, I want to thank Brandon O'Sullivan. He is a gem. He is the sound guy who's making this all happen, who's making them all sound so good. Brandon, you are above and beyond. Thank you. And now I got to introduce somebody that I met in the funniest way. We do the Phil Oaks Song Nights, and we travel with. This is the 40th anniversary of the Phil Oaks Song Nights, and we're going to be doing one here on Greenwich Village Folk Festival in October to celebrate 40 years. And this guy came to a song night in Cleveland. I didn't know him from Adam, and he walked in, and he said, "Hi, I'd like to give you my CD." And he hands me his CD. And I look at the CD, and there's this picture of a guy. He looks like a truck driver on the CD. I'm thinking, this is probably a rock guy. Why is he giving this to me? So I took it home and listened, and I became an instant fan. He is just amazing, writes amazing songs, and has a voice to kill for. And I don't see you there. I hope you're there, Joe.
I am indeed. I am here.
They were hiding you. Okay. This is my dear friend. We've been, since that time, he's been in a lot of the film nights, and he's been to my house. He's just one, and he does a show that I love on Folk Music Notebook called My Highway Home, where he interviews people, and he's really one of the best interviewers I think I've heard. I've just learned so much about so many people listening to his show. Joe Jenks, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sonny. And a belated happy birthday to you a few weeks back. That was a wonderful thing. I was glad we got to chat a little bit. I don't very often wear Hawaiian shirts, and certainly not for performance, but as an homage to Rod McDonald, who's been working so hard the last 3 years to lift up the Greenwich Village Folk Festival online and bring us this resurrection of the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt tonight. Here's for you, brother. This is a song off of my latest album, came out August 1st of last year. It's called The Coming of the Years. When I first came here to wander these mountains, my heart was tattered and torn. Ever the rover and all the world over, no land ever felt like a home. But here in the crags and the bogs and the valleys, I found some measure of ease, where the song of the wind is as sweet to behold as the beautiful rose of Tralee. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. Now I have been blessed to live a good life. I can count my friends by the score, and I have shared meals and moments of kindness. God willing, I'll know many more. But when the burden I've chosen to shoulder is more than I can stand, I find that my thoughts wander back up to Kerry, that rugged and beautiful land. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. When I have traveled all of my journeys and sung all of my songs, when I have given the best that I have and righted most of my wrongs, then take me back to the place that I love. Let me gaze out over the sea. Take me back to the mountains of Kerry and let my spirit run free. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. Thank you. We just recently celebrated May Day, among other things. The Workers' Memorial Day, recognized internationally. And in 1919, the workers of Winnipeg, Manitoba went out on general strike. They held the city for 7.5 weeks. And their strike was timed to help commemorate the Haymarket Massacre in Chicago in 1886. But they sparked general strikes across North America and around the world. And in 2019, I was invited up to Winnipeg to help celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Winnipeg General Strike. And I wrote this song for the occasion. It's called Winnipeg 1919. The year was 1919, and all around the world people started marching with their victory flag unfurled. We've shed our blood on battlefields, enslaved in deep dark mines. We rally to the banner of red and roses, it's our time. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Europe and to Canada, across the USA, we cry out for justice and for fair and equal pay. All sisters and brothers and all workers here unite. We strive for one big union and defend our common rights. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. From Halifax and Thunder Bay to the Fraser River shore, Seattle, San Francisco, and Chicago, hear us roar. From Boston on to Dublin town are heard the people's cries. No more to drudge and idler when the workers organize. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Though some of us were born of means and others not a dime, we spend our lives in service to a cause we hold sublime. All laborers in commonwealth, now let our voices say that one way or another we will bring the greater day. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. So here's to Big Bill Haywood, Mother Jones, and Eugene Debs, along with Emma Goldman and Joe Hill and all the Reds, and all those fellow travelers who beckoned to the call. An injury to one of us is an injury to all. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. We may not win our struggle here, but sure as hell we'll try. For the future of our children, we are steadfast by and by. It's only when our minds are joined with muscle we can stand and bring to birth a new world, arm in arm and hand in hand. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. Come gather, fellow workers, and raise your voices strong. We rise today in Winnipeg to sing our victory song. We rise up all around the world and sing our freedom song. Thank you. Gonna switch instruments for my last song here. What a treat to be back with the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. It all goes by so fast. Hey, Rod, I wore a Hawaiian shirt in your honor tonight, and it's one of the first nights I've seen you not wearing a Hawaiian shirt in a long time. Of course, Gordon Lightfoot passed this week, and Gordon was an influence on many, many people. In 2016, I was privileged to play up at the Folk Festival, Mariposa Folk Festival in Orillia, Ontario, and I got to hang out with Gordon Lightfoot backstage for a while and chat with him. This is one of my songs, but I was 3 years old when the Edmund Fitzgerald sank, and probably 3.5 or 4 when Gord's song about the Edmund Fitzgerald was all over AM country radio. And my mom listened to a lot of that music, and I'm sure it had an influence on the song. It's called St. Christopher. End of the season and the wind is bitter cold. It's just the sort of morning to make young boys feel low. The tanks are all topped off, we've got the permits free and clear. One more good haul could see us through until we start next year. But it's my call alone to make, and one I hate to blow. 6 families now, including mine, dependent on the things I think I know. I know the wind and water, and I am not afraid. But living off the ocean is a complicated trade. I never get my profit margins or my pride confused with the safety of this vessel, or its good and hearty crew. But the time is now or never, and the weather looks to hold. I gather up the crew on deck, we bow our heads and pray before we go. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. Bring us safely to our families and keep us from the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. I've fished in weather worse than this at least 100 times. I still can't shake the shivers that are crawling up my spine. 11 hours out, the swells are getting deep. We can't put the nets out and it's too damn rough to sleep. If We stick it out till morning, things may calm down with the lights. But if it turns against us, we'll be lucky if we see another night. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that only frail crashing of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. It was on a night like this my father went away. Even though my mother begged and pleaded him to stay, I was standing there waiting as his trawler left the docks. Saw the pictures of the wreckage that they found upon the rocks. 7 men were rescued of the 9 that left that day. The last they saw their captain, he was on the bridge. They swear they heard him say, St. Christopher, protect them from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. Bring them safely to their families or quickly to their graves. St. Christopher, I call on you this day. Now the difference between bravery and foolishness is small. A healthy sense of fear can bring perspective to us all. I know you men are hungry for the cash this catch could bring. And if we go back empty, we'll be real tight come spring. But I've learned history's a lesson and it isn't worth the pain. The things we stand to lose are so much greater than the things we have to gain. St. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you this day. Christopher, protect us from the cold and stormy sea. Watch over all these fishermen who put their trust in me. Never mind that salty spray or crashing of the wave. We will go back to our families. It isn't worth the grave. St. Christopher, we call on you. Christopher, we call on you. St. Christopher, we thank you for this day.
So that song was on that CD you gave me. What Kind of Brother is the name of the CD, and that song was on there. And that was the song that really grabbed me. Really fabulous song. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say is Joe was a part of a group called Brother Son. And if you go to YouTube and you write in Brother Son and type in Lady of the Harbor, that's one of Joe's finest songs, and the version on there has the most amazing photographs you've ever seen. It's really worth taking the time to do that. Lady of the Harbor on on their brother's son.
Yeah, and a shout out to Neil Eckstein for doing the research to find all of those photographs.
Unbelievable.
That was his work. Many, many thanks to him. And yeah, Sonny, thanks for hosting, co-hosting this evening with Rod McDonald and Greenwich Village Folk Festival. What a treat to be here.
I still have the St. Christopher medal you gave me one time, years ago. It's still
well,
sitting.
you are a patron and a protector of travelers. It seems only appropriate.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for that. If people are looking for more information, joejanks.com, joejanks.com has all the information you might look for, including tour dates. I'll be playing at the Arc this summer and traveling all around the country.
Any performer that you're interested in, just Google them. Their name comes up, and you find out all about. Or you can watch them on YouTube. There's so many sources out there today that we never had before. Thank you, Joe. Safe travel.
Thank you. Stick around for some great music coming up from Tom Prasada Rao and Greg Greenway, and more great folks coming up.
Okay. All righty. Speaking of Tom Prasada Rao, another one of my dear special friends. I met Tom Prasada Rao in Washington, D.C. at a Phil Oakes song night. I had never heard him before. I had never seen him before. And he was recommended by a good friend of mine, Vic Heyman, who was a real special person in the folk community. And Vic said, if you're going to do the song night down here in Washington, you have to include Tom Prasada Rao. So just on his word, I put Tom into the show. And he did a version of Phil's song, I Ain't Marching Anymore. I was standing backstage with the other performers, and it was just jaw-dropping. Everybody just listened to him and said, wow. And since then, he's done lots of other Phil shows. He's done so much. He's written such amazing songs, and he sometimes plays with other people. He's just a gem and plays many instruments. And I just love Tom. He's just very, very special. So I think you want to listen to him instead of me. I think that would be a good idea. So please welcome Tom Prasada Rao.
Oh, thank you, Sonny. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, yeah, birthdays. Your birthday and my birthday are a day apart.
I know.
Yeah, we're practically twins.
I know.
Except you were born the same year as my daughter.
Well, thank you, Sonny. Thank you for those kind words. All right, I'll just get into it. If I could take it back, I would. If I could take it back, I would. Unspeak what I spoke, unbreak what I broke. If I could take it back, I would. I can't make the clock unwind. Can't hold back the hand of time. Can't blow out that wish. Can't unburn that bridge. Can't go back and make you mine. If I could take it back, I would. Before I went all Hollywood, undo what I done, unfeel what I felt. If I could take it back, I would. If I could take it back, I would.
Yeah.
And I would take it back if I could. Well, I've been going through another little tune-up. 5 rounds of radiation I started last week, and got one tomorrow morning and one on Wednesday, and they'll be done. It just makes me grateful for being alive and being able to experience all this beauty in this world, especially at this present moment. That's kind of what this song's about. Consider the lilies of the field, how they neither sow nor reap, but still God's beauty is revealed. God watches over them in their sleep. Then will it not be so for you? Oh, my little orphan child, when your long dark night is through, you will see the morning smile. Look up, have faith, your dreams away. You beautiful, you. Everybody knows the truth. You were such a reckless fool. You spent your brilliant youth chasing your rainbows, your shadows too. But don't think you lost your way, 'cause you're standing at the door. Tomorrow is today, and you are the one you've been waiting for. Look up, have faith, your dreams away. You beautiful, you. Before you were born, God already knew you. God knew you. So ask and you'll receive, seek and you will find. It's not easy to believe that the water has turned to wine, but look up, have faith, your dreams away. Wow. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. That was sweet. I got one more song to do for you. It's a song I wrote with two buddies of mine named Michael Lilly and Tom Kimmel. We've known each other for about 30 years, and we've seen each other through a lot of stuff. And usually the talk gets around to how many times Tom Kimmel has been married when we're together, and I think the count is now four. Maybe it's 5. Maybe this last one was 5. And he gets a good-natured ribbing. But then one day when we were sitting down to write, we were talking about how fortunate we were to have lived so long and through all these incarnations, and yet we keep coming back to love. And love somehow finds us whether we deserve it or not. And it's such a beautiful thing. This is one of my favorite songs that the three of us had written. It's called One More Phase of the Moon. And I'm saying that just because we recently, the Sherpas, Michael Lilly, Tom Kimmel, and myself, we call ourselves the Sherpas, we did a new record, and it's going to be released, I think, on June the 1st. It's going to be on Spotify and other playlists, and you can find it. But this song's going to be on it. It's called One More Phase of the Moon. The honeymoon's over. The house is too still. The embers are dying, as they always will. And if we cling to the light, it fades all too soon. My love, it's alright. It's just one more phase of the moon. We start on the mountain, the wide world below, spread out like a flower, to have and to hold. But if we hold on too tight, it withers too soon. My love, it's alright. It's just one more phase of the moon. Oh, sometimes you wonder if it's all over. Just one stolen kiss. Sweet, sweet while it lasted, but out with the ashes. But yet here it is. The dance floor is empty. It's almost a shame. But here's my invitation to join me again. But don't hold on too tight. If the song ends too soon, my love, it's alright. It's just one more phase of the moon. My love, it's alright. It's just one more phase of the moon.
Beautiful song, Tom. Really love that. By the way, I've heard what you wrote a song when was it George Floyd? I've got the name right.
Yeah.
$20 Bill, which I play often on my show.
Oh, good.
And I've been told that how many people have recorded that now?
About 200.
What?
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. It's such a powerful song. And thank you for writing it.
Oh man, it was. I feel like I can't take credit for that one. That just came down, was planted in my brain somehow.
It is so powerful.
Thank you, Sonny.
Thank you for a beautiful performance. It's so good to see you. I miss you. I haven't seen you in forever.
I love you very much, Sonny.
Love you, Tom. And take care and be well. That's what's most important.
I will.
All right. And now, a person who just came back from the Southeast Regional Folk Alliance. I think it was his first time there. I met him in 1992 when he applied for the Falcon Ridge Showcase, and I was the judge and jury. It was the first year we did it there, and I put him in the show. The next thing I know, he was in the Phil Oak Song Night, so we've been friends like 30 years or there, about 31 years now, and we're still friends. Hey, Greg, I'm sitting in your room.
Yes, you are.
You come through here so often. We've designated this, my computer room, as Greg's room. And here it is, and I'm in it, and you're going to be in it soon again, right?
Right, correct.
Yeah. And anyhow, Greg Greenway has been out there making really great music, and he keeps putting out new CDs. He just put out another one, and it's called Between Hello and Goodbye. And he just had one a couple of years ago with Reggie Harris.
Right.
Deeper Than the Skin.
Deeper Than the Skin, yes.
You had another one.
Visual aid.
Okay, and then you had another one about your new stuff, your old stuff that you read.
Yeah, songs from the beginning. Yeah, when I first moved to Boston, the songs that that existed in the 80s.
Well, you didn't let the pandemic stop you, did you? You've been going full bore and doing great music, and we've become very close friends, and I am so happy to have you in my life and to see you on Greenwich Village Folk Festival. I know you help out with the sound a lot also, and keep doing it, Greg. Just keep at it. We love you.
Thank you, Sonny.
Thank
you, Sonny. And I get the joy of following Tom Presetta-Rao. I've done this before, so I'm ready for this experience. And so what I have to say to you as audience members now is come back, come back. I remember opening for him somewhere in the Midwest. I mean, he went first. We flipped a coin because we were doing a split show. And he did a song called Rishi's Garden, which is this very meditative, sitarish piece. And I came out to do my thing, and I just looked at the audience, and it was like, okay, they were somewhere else. And Tom takes people somewhere else. It's so beautiful. So how do you follow him, Well, I'm going to enlist the help of some pretty heavy-duty people who helped me write this song. Martin Luther King, Sam Cooke, Curtis Mayfield. I had to get their help to allow me to tell the story of myself. Really, this is my beginnings. I was born in the ex-capital of the Confederacy, Richmond, Virginia, and I was handed the story of the lost cause. And then a lot of my life has been about this dissonance building up in the middle of me until I was able to see the walls that were built inside of me, as they are built inside of all of us. So this is called Big Wide World. I was born by the river where the boats could go no farther, and the history flowed like water through my mother and my father. They said nothing good comes easy in the land of the free. And those folks over yonder, they're not like you and me. It was too hard living with what I was told. Heads were shaking at the newspapers and the radio.
Like the whole world had gone crazy when they heard that man say, change gonna come, oh yes it will, said it right this way. It's a big wide world for all to see, beyond these walls built inside of you and me, where half of the story has been raised to an art, but no lie can live forever without killing your heart. No lie can live forever without killing your heart. There were times that I thought I could leave it all behind. I could find a highway, I could cross the state line, but you could drive your whole life, no matter how far. There's no map in the world of people's hearts, no map in the world of people's hearts. It's a big wide world for all to see, and beyond these walls built inside of you and me, where half of the story has been raised to an art, but no lie can live forever without killing your heart. No lie can live forever without killing your heart. People get ready, there's a change coming. People get ready, there's a change coming. After all this time, it's the statues that have fallen in that hometown of mine, but that river keeps on rolling right on down to the sea, and those folks over yonder are still dying to be free. Those folks over yonder are dying to be free. It's a big wide world for all to see, beyond these walls inside of you and me, where half of the story has been raised to an art, but no lie can live forever without killing your heart. No lie can live forever without killing your heart. It's a big wide No lie can live forever without killing your heart. No lie can live forever without killing your heart.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. All right, I got a message from Brandon, who I just want to acknowledge again. I told him to write in large text, all in caps, and speak as if he was speaking to his pet, to give me instructions. So I got a little loud, but I'm going to get softer in this song. So maybe it's going to, but I'll bring it all down just a little bit. So thanks, Brandon. I was driving down the New Jersey Turnpike, which, strangely enough, is a really great source of inspiration for me. For some reason, Exit 4 is particularly fertile. And the idea struck me that this is what people like me think about. That if I died today, and at the time I was not married, who would stand up and say who I am? And I realized that it would be my brothers, and And this terrible feeling came across me because they don't really know me. I left a long time ago. And I just thought about how do you describe a human being? You know, all the things that we are externally and internally that make us and make our life. You know, and in the past, people would paint your portrait, you know, and it would be as much the artist as the subject. So the idea for the song, "If You Paint Me," came up because I wanted to stop the. I just wanted to take on the issue myself. So I would tell you who I am and all the things that make me. It's called "If You Paint Me." If you paint me blue, cerulean September sky, there must be a yellow sun, something far and passing by. For I am made of all of this, a mother's love, a lover's kiss, my brother's pain, a dove, a fist, and more, and more. Above the sparkle of the sea, render me that distant thing, over hues of blues and greens, a glint of gold on fleeting wings. For I am made of all of this, a mother's love, a lover's kiss, my sister's struggle to persist, and more, and more than the hand that holds the broad brush strokes of destiny, more than you can fill in the rest of me. Translucent time, a moment like no other. Paint how you will this life of mine, a melody in colors. For I am made of all this, a mother's love, a lover's kiss, my brother's pain, a dove, a fist, my sister's struggle to persist, and more, and more. For I am made of all this, a mother's love, a lover's kiss, my brother's pain, a dove, a fist, my sister's struggle to persist, my father's gift, resist, resist, and more, and more. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Thank you very much, and thanks to everyone who let me move from behind the panels. where I can be snarky with Brandon all night. It's out front and doing my songs. And thanks to you, Sonny. And Sonny, of course, you should be telling people that we'll be doing May 13th. I guess you did a Phil Oaks Song Night in Albany at WAMC's The Linda. So I'm going to leave you with sort of a public service song, especially dedicated to all of you, the traveling musicians out there, and all of you travel and commute. Especially if you lived in the Boston area, it can get violent on the highways. And so I came up with a peaceful solution to a very particular problem. Here's a public service announcement for everyone who drives the highways of America, staying straight, staying alive. It only takes a couple of the ignorant, the insane, to muck it up for everyone, but this song feels your pain. Talking the scourge of America. Now there are those who can't merge peacefully. Those when all are stopped, they fly by in the breakdown lane. When you need one, where's a cop? There's a Harley that splits traffic and does that death wish thing. But it's the squatter in the outside lane that makes me wanna sing. Get out of the left lane. Get out of the left lane. You're driving me insane. Get out of the left lane. Now who taught you to drive a car? Who you think you are? Well, get out, get out, get out of the left lane. Now there's a phalanx of big semi-trucks all lined up to draft. There's the one inch from your bumper, speed-addicted psychopath. There's a left-to-right lane floater that keeps us all on edge. But it's the squatter in the outside lane that makes me take the pledge to cure the scourge of America. Now there's a blinker that's been blinking since before the last 12 towns. Are the ones who scream past you, pull in front and slow way down. For some, the rearview mirror is a long forgotten thing. It's the squatter in the passing lane that makes me wanna sing. Get out of the left lane. Get out of the left lane. You're driving me insane. Get out of the left lane. Now who taught you to drive a car? Who do you think you are? Get out, get out, get out of the left lane. Now for those who are feeling powerless, forgotten and forlorn, done with wild hand gestures, flashing lights, blaring horns, now there's a solution in the chorus of a song. To join the national movement, you need only sing along. To cure the scourge of America. Now from the access roads of Austin to the 5 in LA, to the Big Dig up in Boston, what the hell's a rotary anyway? From the Cross Bronx triple gridlock to the mosh pit in DC, it's the anti-rolling roadblock left lane vigilante. Please, yeah, get out of the left lane. Get out of the left lane. You're driving me insane. Get out of the left lane. Who taught you to drive a car? Who do you think you are? Get out, get out, get out of the left. Get out, get out, get out of the left. Get out, get out, get out of the left lane.
Thank you, George. Thank you. That was a really fun set, very different. And I'll see you very soon. And keep on doing all the great work you're doing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And before I forget, I want to thank Ray Isaac and Rod McDonald for keeping this show going. It's a lot of work. It's very hard to find 10 acts every single month that are really good acts and fun to listen to. And they work very hard at it. I know they do. So thank you, guys. And of course, I thanked Brandon O'Sullivan, who was just the most amazing sound guy. You have no idea what he does behind the scenes. And now, hey, it's time for another woman, right? We've had all these guys, one right after the other. It's time to have a woman on here. And we couldn't find a much better one than this one. This is a woman whose mother was a musician and whose brothers were musicians. And at the age of 15, she actually, kind of following her brother, she said, I'm going to do music too. And she started a band when she was 15 years old. And then she put out her first CD in her early 20s and very aptly called it Sister Kate, because she had two brothers who were out there making names for themselves. And she's been sort of off and on. She takes a few years off and then she comes back. And now I guess, hey, it takes a while to come up with these great songs. She does it. And I think it was 2019. I hope I have that right. And you correct me if I'm wrong. She put out another album and it was about time. It was way overdue. So now she's going to show you in person what she can do as a performer. Please welcome our good friend, Kate Taylor.
Hello, Sonny. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Wow. It's wonderful to hear all these wonderful songs and beautiful musicians that are playing every month on the folk festival. And thank you, everybody, really, for being here and for inviting me and for putting this on. We're keeping hope alive with the music. Well, I have a friend who has a writing workshop. She's a wonderful writer, and she also does these workshops where she has about 12 folks come in at a time, and they do a week's worth of sessions, and they write it's usually prose, and but she asked me if I would write a song, because she was doing a kind of a podcast, and she needed a song for music to play at the beginning of the podcast. So this is what we came up with, and it's called "You Got a Story to Tell."
Perfect. Thank you.
You got a story to tell. Let your shadows go. Light the fire. Let your syllables roll. Tell me the truth. Tell me a lie. Release your soul like a butterfly. Tell me your story. What do you feel? A whisper of thunder. You're ready to heal. Remember the time when no one heard your tenderest voice, your deepest words from your heartland, like an arrow in mine. Shine and sets like the sun. Your heartbeat is the drum. From a bonfire down to an ember's glow. From a rushing river to a flake of snow. You've got a story to tell that only you know. Here's the key. Open the door. And if you trust in me, the more you'll find of the golden vein that's yours to mine. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, from a bonfire down to an ember's glow, from a rushing river to a flake of snow. You've got a story to tell that only you know. Here's the key. Open the door. And if you trust in me, the more you'll find of the golden vein that's yours to mine. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me all about it now. Please give me the word. Tell me, baby.
All right.
All right. So I took her course, and everything that I came up with was kind of poems, was songs. And so I took this one. What had happened was, my dear husband Charlie had gotten ill, and we were making an album, and he was producing it with our friend Tony Garnier, and we found out during the course of making the record that Charlie had quite serious illness, and so he was facing his mortality, and he really was, he made it a mission of his to get this album done. So we were almost done with it, and we were home, and there outside in the backyard in a cedar tree was a red-tailed hawk, and it was sitting in that tree for days, and it would go caw, 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 and it was calling and calling. And I'd go out and, for an errand, I'd come back in, and the bird was going, caw, caw. And Charlie says, that bird really likes you. And at one point, he had, a medical event. This bird, during this period of time that the bird was there, he had a serious medical event, and we had to med flight him up to the hospital in Boston. And we had to let him go. And we brought him back home, and we were having the service for him up in the at the gravesite in the town we live in, Gay Head, Aquina. And there was a large gathering of people there, and while the service was going on, there was a red-tailed hawk that was circling around the event. And then a few days later, it was our daughter's birthday, and there was a red-tailed hawk that made its presence known to me. And then it was our anniversary, and there was a red-tailed hawk. And then I was going out for a walk on his birthday, and there was a red-tailed hawk. And I said, okay, I get it. And it was very comforting to know that now when I see a red-tailed hawk, I think, well, Charlie is nearby. So this had been just a fresh experience when I was taking this course with my friend Nancy Arney. And so I wrote these words, and then sometime later I gave them to our friend Billy Derby, and he put it to music. He put them to music, so here it is. The moonlight turned to liquid, and it poured down from the sky, a river of quicksilver, the path of love light from your eyes. The pond held that shimmer, the pair of herons stood in the spell. Like reeds with knees they listen. I dare you to be that still. I've been waiting for your visit in my dream, and it came to be. Heaven's door would open and you'd come and visit me. Your birthday sky was striped with clouds, like so many years before. I sang a song, said baby, baby, and stepped outside the door. Today the world spins one more time. How can it go so fast? How can it make each second count? How can we make each moment last? I've been waiting for your visit in my dream, and it came to be. Heaven's door would open, and you'd come and visit me. I miss my baby, I miss him bad. My heart, it's got a crack. It's sweet to think his work is done, but I want my baby, I want my baby, I want my baby back. I've been waiting for your visit on the wing of the red-tailed hawk. This morning one flew over when I went out for that walk. I guess I must have seen it in my dream, and it came to heaven's door would open, and you'd come and visit me. There you have it. Thank you so much. Well, I have the great pleasure of inviting my dear friend Peter Halpern, whose studio I'm at tonight, the Wood Stove Studios, and out here in West Tisbury on Martha's Vineyard. And this is Peter. And Peter's an old folkie from way back. Tell me about it, Peter.
Well, briefly, I spent a lot of time in the village neck of the woods.
Can you hear him? Can you hear Peter?
Not very well.
Just real quick. Between 72 and 74, I was playing down there quite a bit. I was playing keyboards in a band called Trouble, which was a kind of a world country band that became the house band at Folk City, basically, every weekend for almost a year. And I had done a bunch of my own singer-songwriting stuff before that. So it just feels lovely to be reconnected in this way with you guys and the spirit of it. I used to hang out with Jack Hardy and his songwriting crowd, and it's been a while, so good to see you all, and thank you for, I don't know, letting me sit down on my couch and playing a little bit with Kate.
So he's gonna help me with this next tune, which is called Love is Contagious, and my friend Rebecca Correa, wonderful singer-songwriter from the New Bedford. She lives down in Nashville now, but she's come out here to the Vineyard to play with Phil DeRosa and a number of folks out here. And Phil throws a little kind of a backyard festival every summer, and that's where I first heard Rebecca play. And then she had this idea about bringing us down to Nashville to play. She lives out in Leapers Fork, which is kind of, well, I guess I don't know whether you get this reference, but it's kind of like the Menemsha of Nashville. It's a little hamlet outside of town, and so she got myself and Phil and my beautiful nephew Isaac Taylor, who you've got to hear. He's got an amazing record out, and he's a wonderful, wonderful singer and songwriter, and just a joy. And she invited us to come down to Nashville and do kind of a songwriter in the round thing down there. So we did that, and this was the first time we did it. Was like February of 2020. So it was right before the big old honkin', lockdown. So we, we didn't get a chance to get together again, but to play until. But Rebecca came up to the island, and she and I were chatting one of those summers of the lockdown, and she came and we sat outside and we were talking, and we said, geez, what we were talking about had some meaning to us, and we thought, well, let's write a song. And so we started the tune, and then she came back the next year, and we sort of finished the tune, and then we went back to Nashville. I don't know, I guess it was last fall. Isaac and Phil and I joined Rebecca at Leapers Fort. And then, as a matter of fact, we did the same. We did the same thing. We got together up on Martha's Vineyard and did one just a few weeks ago. Did a little songwriter in the round thing. But in the meantime, Rebecca and I had got this song recorded. She got it recorded down in Nashville, and we do a duet of it. And it goes something like this. Don't be shy, be courageous. Your feet on the ground and on the stages. There's no limit to the sky. Here's why. Love is contagious. Mama told me in her final days it all goes by so fast. And if you stand up to injustice, injustice doesn't stand a chance. So we took the wisdom from her time and wove it into our own rhyme. Powered by what they begun, the path is lit by the rising sun. Don't be shy, be courageous. Your feet on the ground and on the stages. There's no limit to the sky. Here's why. Love is contagious. Some doors are wide open, some doors are still shut. Full-hearted in these moments, and we're never giving up. To see the young ones come along with their shiny righteous song. We're taking it to the streets. This darkness can be beat. Don't be shy, be courageous. Your feet on the ground and on the stages. There's no limit to the sky. Here's why. Love is contagious. And when our healing is done and the new world has begun, what do you see? What do you dream? For you and for me and for all humanity. Don't be shy, be courageous. Your feet on the ground and on the stages. There's no limit to the sky. Here's why. Love is contagious. Shy, be courageous. Your feet on the ground and on the stages. There's no limit to the sky. Here's why. Love is contagious. Shy, be courageous. Your feet on the ground and on the stages. There's no limit to the sky. Here's why. Love is contagious. Love is contagious. Love is, Love is contagious. Boom. That's it, y'all.
All right, some good advice.
Thank you all so much.
Hi, Kate. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Rod. Thank you for
Hi.
having us.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
How's it up in the vineyard? You were telling me it's really beautiful this time of year.
Well, everything's just going kaboom, like everywhere. But, we actually get it a little bit later, spring, the blossoms and the leaves and all the, the natural wonder, the beauty. It comes a little late because of the offshore breeze. It's a little cool, keeps things up. But when it comes, it's gangbusters, and it just puts everybody in the best kind of headspace. You can't help it, and it's lovely. I'm sure it's lovely everywhere, but we're so fortunate to be able to be here and experience it. The birds make a lot of noise. They're happening. They're taking over.
I would bet it's really beautiful this time of year.
You got to come up and see it.
I mean, you're kind of.
Oh, Rod, that would be so cool.
You're kind of in in between time between.
Pardon?
You're kind of in that in between time between the end of winter and when the tourists all arrive.
That's right. That's right. The sweet spot.
Yeah,
but we love it when our exotic birds of tourists come. I mean, we need them and we love them. And
when you guys come, you're not tourists.
It's right. We would love you even more, but we love our visitors because they get to take a little bit of this glorious thing back home with them, and so they spread the good word. So that's how.
During the summer on the island, is there much live music? Do you go out? Do you get out and play? Do you get out to shows? Are there things?
Yeah, there's as a matter of fact, Peter puts on every month. He puts on a wood stove studios concert, and he did one actually tonight because Peter has written some amazing songs, and he and our friend Delaney Pickering they put the show on, and so that's one thing that we have. There are a lot of venues that sort of pop up. It's very difficult to keep a venue going all year, but the music is in there and it's got to come out. And so, we keep it going. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Thanks so much, Kate. Really great to see you. And thank you, Paul.
You too, Rod. Thank you so much, everybody.
Well, as Kate says, that the music's in there and it's got to come out. And that's what we're about here at the Greenwich Village Folk Festival, is getting that music out. I want to remind everybody that it's not too late to hit the tip jar. Donate something if you can tonight. Help all these performers out. Help us out here at the festival. Keep this program going. And maybe when the big money comes in, I'll get better lighting one of these days. But all the same, thank you, Kate, for that those wonderful songs. Well, we're down or up to our final performer of the evening, and I have to say that this person is one of the most special people, I think, in the world of music, not only for me personally, but I know for a whole lot of people. Happy Traum has been making music since, I would imagine the late 1950s, early 60s. I know he started out playing in Washington Square with his brother Artie, and along the way has recorded with such people as Bob Dylan, Phil Oakes, John Sebastian, Pete Seeger, Levon Helm, Eric Anderson, Larry Campbell, and Allen Ginsberg. That's just a short list. And also, I know from personal experience what a really fine person he is, and what a really serious musician is about. Happy has truly learned, I think, a great amount of wonderful American folk music, and learned it in the authentic way that it was performed by the people who first created it, and through not only his own recordings, but through an organization that he has started and continues to to have called Homespun Tapes has passed on this knowledge to, I would imagine, thousands of people by now through the simple process of filming people along the way, describing what they do. Amazing how little of that there really was before, and in some ways, how little of it there is sometimes. You know, you'd like to be able to sit and ask a major artist, well, how do you do this? How do you approach this? And if you were to subscribe to Homespun Tapes, you'd find a lot of that information. I remember Happy once gave me a video of Odetta being interviewed by Bernice Reagan from Sweet Honey in the Rock, and it's just the most wonderful interview. She shows how she broke down her guitar style, her singing style, all of this great teaching contained in there. And somewhere in Happy Traum, I think, he has assimilated this vast library of American folk music. And if you want to hear a recent version of what that is, he's got a CD that's been out a little bit less than a year called There's a Bright Side Somewhere, a wonderful collection of songs. And as Sonny says, it will make you feel good listening to it. Would you please welcome our friend Happy Traum?
Oh, thank you, Rod. What a wonderful introduction that was. Hardly feel like I'm worth it, but I thank you for it anyway. So you mentioned There's a Bright Side Somewhere, and I might have done this on this Greenwich Village Folk Festival before, but I thought I would do it again tonight, partly because it's a lot of fun to play for me. It's also an uplifting song. It's a song with a lot of kind of joy attached to it, a lot of hope, which we all need right now. And so and it gets my fingers warmed up. So let me see if I can do something with this. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Let's not rest until we find it. There's a bright side somewhere. And there's more joy somewhere. More joy somewhere. Let's not rest until we find it. There's more joy somewhere. And there's more love somewhere. More love somewhere. Let's not rest until we find it. There's more love somewhere. And there's more peace somewhere. More peace somewhere. Let's not rest until we find it. There's more peace somewhere. There's a bright side somewhere. Bright side somewhere. Let's not rest until we find it. There's a bright side, yeah, somewhere. I said there's a bright side somewhere. Yes, there is. Thank you. Those of us who grew up in the folk revival had several touchstones of resources for songs that we learned, and just about everybody learned some songs from the great anthology of American folk music on Folkways Records that Harry Smith put together back in the 1950s, and some of the standards of the folk world came out of that collection. It was kind of a Bible to us. Certainly things like John Hurt's Spike Driver's Blues, Bascom Lunsford's Wish I Was a Mole in the Ground, Clarence Ashley doing The Cuckoo. I mean, there's 80 some odd cuts on there. Some of them have kind of disappeared in some ways, but others are standards in the folk repertoire. And this one, I just have to say I've known it since back then when I first heard Henry Thomas play it on the guitar and quills, which was like a panpipe that he had on a rack around his neck, like a harmonica rack, I guess. And this is kind of a standard now. And I just started playing it. I've known it for years and years, but I've never really played it. And I just thought it would be fun to do it here. You probably know it. Up on a hill about 12 o'clock, I reached right down and I got me a pole. Went to the hardware, got me a hook, put that hook right on that line. You know, baby, been a fishing all the time. Now I'm a going fishing too. Bet your life your loving wife can catch more fish than you. If you got good bait, here's a little tip I would like to relate. Any fish fine if you got good bait. I'm a going fishing, yes, I'm going fishing. My baby going fishing too. I looked in that river about 1 o'clock. I saw a big catfish swimming around. I got so hungry, didn't know what to do. I'm gonna catch me a catfish too. Put 'em in a skillet, don't mind the lead, 'cause Mama's gonna make up some shortening bread. With my pole and my line, I'm a-going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing, and baby going fishing too. I'll play it again. I'm going fishing, they're going fishing, and my baby's going fishing too. Fishing the blues. Let's see. So, another song from my CD. back in the very early 60s, I was in a group called the New World Singers. It was a quartet back then. It was the first group I was ever in. And we used to play around the normal spots in the village that people played at, the Gaslight Cafe and Gertie's Folk City and the Bitter End and all those places. We made our rounds around the village. And a young fellow named Bob Dylan used to come around and loved to get in on our shows, usually the late show, starting around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. He'd show up, and very often he'd feed us songs that he'd been writing. In those days, he'd write a song and he'd be dying to have somebody else sing it. Things have changed over the years, but some of those songs are, I think, still some of the great ones. And this is one I've known since those days with the New World Singers, and so I thought, well, why not put it on a record? So I recorded it with some great other musicians, Tony Trischka on banjo and Larry Campbell on mandolin, and Eric Parker playing great drums. And I mean, it was a fun session, really, really great. And so this is a song he called Farewell. Let me make sure I'm in tune here. is your name. It's fairly well, my all true love. We'll meet again another day, another time. It ain't believing that's grieving me, but my true love bound to stay behind. It ain't believing that's grieving me, but my true love is bound to stay behind. Farewell.
Hey, Happy. This is Rod here.
Hey, Rod.
You were telling me the other day that you were doing speaking of Bob Dylan, that last song, that you're doing a presentation about Bob Dylan in Tulsa in the first weekend of June.
Yes, I do a kind of a mixed media presentation of part of my life going back to the 1950s, 54 through about 71. And I use slides of vintage photographs of those days, many with me in them in Washington Square Park and various places. And I talk about people I met along the way, Dave Van Ronk, Phil, Bob, many, many people. Allen Ginsberg, who you mentioned earlier, I became good friends with at a certain point. And so I weave those into a presentation that I've been doing for maybe 5 or 6 years now. I've done it a lot of different places around the country. And I was invited to do it at something called the World of Bob Dylan, which is a symposium that takes place the first weekend in June at the University of Tulsa in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we're going to be going out there to do this talk. I'll sing some songs, of course, but also talk about various aspects, play some audio clips, and show lots of images. So it's fun. People get a big kick out of it. So.
I'll bet it's great. Well, can we ask you to do one more song for us tonight?
Oh, sure.
It's too late here.
Okay. Can I do a song I've never done in public before and have only known for maybe a couple of weeks?
Absolutely.
It's
what better place to do it than this?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, you kind of can't go wrong. We got nothing but friends here, right?
Right.
This is a song, I just love the music of John Hartford. John was probably the best solo performer I ever heard. I mean, he'd have his fiddle or his banjo or even his guitar, and he'd be all by himself on a stage with just he'd be on a box and he'd have taps on his shoes, and he'd be fiddling or playing the banjo and dancing at the same time and getting the audience to sing along. I mean, he's just a brilliant entity in the world. We lost him probably close to 20 years ago. But I recently came across this song of his, which many people have recorded. It just touches me. It's a very simple, sweet song, and I just thought, what the hell, I just learned it, so why not do it for you people? Someday, my baby, when I am a man, and others have taught me the best that they can, they'll sell me a suit and they'll cut off my hair and send me to work in tall buildings. So it's goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, goodbye to you. I'm off to the subway, I must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings. retired and my life is my own. I made all my payments, it's time to go home. I wonder what happened betwixt and between when I went to work in tall buildings. So it's goodbye to the sunshine, goodbye to the dew, goodbye to the flowers, and goodbye to you. I'm off to the subway, I must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings. To the subway, I must not be late. I'm going to work in tall buildings.
Very nice. Thank you, Happy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you and hear you, and thanks so much for your music and for joining us on what was fairly short notice. You have to be one of the few performers I know of who wouldn't have started off your set by saying, I just flew in yesterday and I'm kind of beat.
But I actually did. I did actually just fly in yesterday.
Well, thanks so much for being here with us tonight.
And yeah, and of course I send all my love and good wishes to Linda Williams, and I spoke to her and to Robin, and she'll be fine.
Good.
There's nobody better than them, and I'm very honored to be taking their place, although they're irreplaceable. So I'm sure they'll be on another time.
Happy. If anybody wanted to find your CD, there's a bright side somewhere. Where would they find it? Is it?
Yeah, the best place would probably be either homespun.com, which is the homespun. Okay. Yeah, homespun.com or happytraum.com. There's a link on there also to get it, and it was very well received. People seem to. I have about 20 musicians on there at various cuts with me, and I'm very proud of the great musicianship that is displayed on that.
It's an excellent CD. I really have enjoyed listening to it several times.
Thanks, Rod.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to mention that all of the performers that you've seen tonight have CDs, recordings out, and websites. I can't list them all. I can tell you who you've seen this evening, but what I especially want to say is please follow up on this music. Check out their recordings. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all of the usual places. And you can certainly get physical CDs and other forms, LPs, USB drives, and downloads easily enough. All of that stuff's very easily available. Going back to 7 o'clock, we started off with Daniel Kaner coming to us from London. Dave Fader from Isla Mirada, Florida, Rachel Garland from San Francisco, Jackson Emmer from Carbondale, Colorado, Dan and Claudia Zanes, I believe, from Balmer, Baltimore, Maryland, Joe Jenks from suburban Chicago, Tom Prasada Rao from Washington, D.C., Maryland area. And Tom, that second song you did was just a killer, so beautiful. Greg Greenway, who had to follow Tom and did a stellar job, coming to you from Richmond, Virginia. Kate Taylor from Martha's Vineyard, and Happy Traum from Woodstock, New York. No one can say that the Greenwich Village Folk Festival isn't a cosmopolitan entertainment juggernaut of sorts. Am I right, Sonny? What do you think?
You're absolutely right. What a wonderful collection this was tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Great concert, huh, Sonny? And wonderful, wonderful music from everybody tonight. Some great new songs. Quite an amazing music community, I think. Don't you think?
Thank you for inviting me to join you.
You bet, Sonny. You're always welcome around here. You know that. Let me tell everybody who's coming next month. We'll be back on, I think it's June 4, and Got quite a lineup. Jim Page from Seattle. Peter Kalo, whiz-bang guitarist and music director for Carly Simon. Really tremendous musician, will be joining us. Scott Ainsley, another excellent guitarist who's one of the real scholars of the Robert Johnson catalog. Plays great slide guitar, also writes really good songs. Jasper Lepak, who we had about a year ago, really fine singer. Sarah Milanovic from upstate New York, wonderful violinist and a songwriter, along with Greg Anderson. Sarah is actually quite in demand these days. She's doing a bunch of theatrical productions. She's kind of the go-to violinist for a lot of Broadway and off-Broadway shows. Grace Morrison, who's getting a lot of buzz, a young singer-songwriter who's, just kind of emerged recently and has some great new material. Be looking forward to that. Daniel Bowling, who was with us for the Tom Paxton show in January, comes to us from the great Southwest. Tret Fure, who lives in Virginia, and I just was at the Music on the Mountain in North Carolina I got to see Tret do an entire concert one evening. It was mesmerizing, really wonderful, great show. And David Wilcox, speaking of really excellent guitar players and singer-songwriters, will be with us. And I should mention, I myself, Rod MacDonald, along with Mark Dan, will be appearing in next month's show from Woodstock, New York. So for a change, we actually have all 10 acts booked for the next month. That's pretty unusual for us. But hopefully everyone will show up. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you can help out with the tip jar, donations from home, we appreciate it. We share it with the musicians, and it really helps to keep all this great music going. Sonny, anything you'd like to say before we sign off for the evening?
Well, I made it to 10 o'clock, which is, for me, a miracle. I took my nap this afternoon, and that's how I did it. And I'll tell you, wait till you're 86. I mean,
You have a couple Phil Oakes concerts coming up, besides the one you're doing for us in October, don't you? Don't you have a couple?
Yeah, actually, on May 13th, we have one in Albany at the Linda for Wanda Fisher's show, and that's next Saturday night. And then we're doing one at the Lars Anderson Auto Museum in Brookline, Massachusetts on June 11th, and that's going to be a matinee. I'm trying to get people to do things in the afternoon because it's important for people who can't stay up late at night.
Did you say Auto Museum?
Yes.
Is it like a classic car museum?
Very interesting place. We've done Phil Oakes nights there before, and it's really a stunning place. Yeah. And they do concerts, and normally they're in the evening, but I said, look, you want a Phil Oakes song night? It'll have to be a Phil Oakes song afternoon. I can't do nights anymore.
Who's in these shows? What's your lineup?
It varies. The one in Albany is going to be our buddy Greg Greenway, and Reggie Harris, Pat Wichter, Louise Mosery, and Kate McDonald.
Oh, great.
Albany. And then the one in Brookline is going to be, we have all different formations, and this is a new one, which is, we have a Phil Oakes quartet, and this is the one we're going to do in Brookline, and it's Greg and Tom Prasada Rao, whom you saw tonight, and Pat Wichter and Reggie Harris. And they four of them are on stage for the entire performance, and they play it as a quartet, not as individuals. So it's phenomenal.
Great. I love shows like that where people actually play together and interact. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but it's really fun. I've done actually with our good friend Joe Jenks. Joe, I hope you appreciate that I went out and changed my shirt after your introduction.
I noticed that.
I just couldn't let that go unchallenged. Joe and I have done several shows where we play a set and then do a set together, kind of song swap, and I really enjoy.
And as for the October show on Greenwich Village Folk Festival, I haven't really booked it yet.
The October show.
Yeah, we have time.
Time.
I guess I'm going to put you in it because people may not realize this. Rod MacDonald was in the very first Phil Oakes song night at the Speakeasy in Greenwich Village in October of 1983.
Wow. Well, I think they may know that because I've heard you say it a bunch of times myself. But I was, yes, it was a great show. That was at Folk City, right?
No, it was at the Speakeasy.
Oh, this first one was at the Speakeasy. Wow.
The first two were at the Speakeasy.
No kidding.
And then we moved to Folk City.
Wow. Yes, the Phil Oakes Song Nights, ladies and gentlemen, are really great music. Phil, of course, a brilliant songwriter and singer in his own right, but it's just a great repertoire of songs, and you got a terrific lineup there, so should be fun. Couple quick announcements in case you missed it in passing. Greg Greenway, Rachel Garland, and Tom Prasad Rao with the Sherpas all have new CDs or albums coming out in whatever form they're coming out. You should be able to find those somewhere. And Happy Trom's CD from a year ago, There's a Bright Side Somewhere, is on his website at homespun.com. And I'm sure that all of the other artists you've seen tonight have recordings that you can find on your own if you want. Well, this has been a beautiful concert. I've really enjoyed it. And I just want to say next month, I believe Ron Olesko will be back here emceeing, which probably means it'll be a shorter concert because he doesn't talk nearly as much as I do. But that's okay. Well, I hope it's okay. I want to say thanks to Brandon O'Sullivan for his stellar work negotiating the ups and downs of being our tech guy. Andrea Klosky and Jerry Kornbluth for keeping our website up to date. And my compadre and co-producer Raymond Misek, we despite the fact that lots of performers thank me, I want it. You should all know that we do the booking together as a team, and it's not me doing all this by myself. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next month, same time, same place, 7 o'clock. June 4, right here on Facebook, YouTube, the Greenwich Village Folk Festival.org, and any place else that you can find us. I don't know where those are, but we'll get there sooner or later. Sonny, delightful working with you.
Likewise.
I'll be up your way this summer. We'll have to get together, have dinner sometime.
Sure.
We will. Okay. Good night, everybody. We're gonna cut the stream and leave the broadcast. And thanks again to Brandon, who will do that job, get us signed off. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.